Every time I get upset, the camera either overheats and shuts down or the battery dies. But luckily for me, I have bought 10 batteries. Anyway, trauma survivors are expected to put themselves into a hypnotic state or just lobotomize themselves for the greater good, I guess. Because that is what EMDR and hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming is. You go sit in a room expecting to meet with a wise old owl, and what you get is an apathetic system telling you to just walk around tapping on your points. Tap, 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 all day. Just tap. And then you go out in corporate America and all of the monsters are running the show. Trump is a reflection of the apathy and immaturity and sick nature of everyone, because you people treat cats and dogs better than your own family. Through my life, I have, and my singledom, I have been told constantly to go get a pet. No. I want to learn how to regulate my own emotions, and I don't want to have something this close to me tapping on me and meowing at me and wagging its tail at me to make me feel like I'm the center of the universe and that I'm a perfect angel in God's chorus and choir, and that I should just hyper focus on caregiving. I'm done with that shit. It's so funny. When I was a kid, I wanted pets so bad. And my adopted dad, Vernon, had always had a dog. But my mother couldn't even let a pet get attention. And not just that, not just that. If you have an animal and you know the whole world is going to demonize you if you abuse it. How are you going to live with a pet that you are treating better than your own children? That was the secret. That was the key. So, everyone out here love bombing animals and torturing the women in their lives and the children in their lives and the men in their lives. Fuck you. If you can only have a tender, unconditional relationship with an animal, you are a sociopathic narcissist. If you are living in an abusive household and you are disassociating and offloading all of your emotions onto a pet, get help. When I was a kid, we used to do that with stuffed animals. And I've seen a lot of Asian kids doing that. I have seen adult Asian people walking around in their early 20s with stuffed animals. And everybody having their emotional support pet, plushie, vape. We do not get to have endless childhoods. We have got to decide as humans to be cooperative and communal and to not constantly seek attention or domination. I am watching a video on Dr. Oz, and his wife he's Turkish, and he is a quack, attention-seeking quack who got way too much attention thanks to Oprah, another person that has flown off to heaven with her millions of dollars, leaving poor black people. I remember when Oprah went on national television and made fun of black women for wearing house shoes and pajamas instead of talking about systematic dehumanization of black women. But money is very hypnotic, and you get to fly off to heaven thinking that you are God. Fuck you, Oprah. Fuck you. One caveat that I would like to add is that I appreciate you cat moms and dads not having children. Maybe that should be the litmus test. You have to be able to keep a plant alive and instead of leaving your family home and your toxic family system and going into another controlled environment like school or college or corporate America, You have to live alone. You have to live alone. How about without television and pets? You have to live alone and learn how to regulate your emotions. Without constant validation or constant attention seeking. Back to my mother. I was never told my father's name by her. I was too afraid to ask her anything. I was too afraid to ask her for food, let alone the name of my father. I was too afraid to ask her for clothes. I was too afraid to ask her for anything. And I didn't. But I did somehow end up in a Stockholm Syndrome, flying monkey enabling relationship with her, where I found myself supporting her financially, emotionally, physically as an adult, and then married to the male version of her. And when I was married to the male version of her, instead of being bedazzled by the lifestyle that my lifestyle, together, he and I worked together. I'm not going to let him together. He used to love to try. He loves to storytell. And he really pushed a narrative of him saving a single mother. It's so fucking gross. And I always pushed back, and said, no, that's not what happened. We came together. Anyway, instead of me disassociating completely into a new lifestyle, I started doing yoga and associating. I landed in my body for the first time ever. I was very hard for him to steer. And he suggested that I have ADHD, which I believe I do, but I also believe I have brain damage from my mother shaking me. I went on the internet and asked for symptoms of shaken baby syndrome, which, when you're not a baby anymore, it's called abusive head trauma, Pamela Tuning, Ball, Hawks, Morgan, Mahaffey, Good. It's called abusive head trauma. Some people have significant lifelong disabilities. Neurological symptoms. Balance and coordination problems, yes. Muscle spasticity, yes. Vision problems, yes. Memory difficulties, trouble concentrating or paying attention, slower processing speed, executive function problems, planning, organizing, decision making, learning disabilities, difficulty problem solving, anxiety, depression, impulsivity, difficulty regulating emotion, increased sensitivity to stress, fatigue, sleep disturbances, chronic pain, difficulty with fine motor skills. I really wanted to learn how to play the guitar and juggle. Didn't happen. Delayed developmental milestones in childhood, challenges with school or work, difficulty maintaining relationships, and reduced independence in severe cases. I've made myself be independent. So, Wildo could not steer me and told me I have ADHD, so I went and got tested. On 8/4/2006 by Hannelore Bragg, one of Rich Tedeschi's associates. She did a Welsher Adult Intelligence Scale, 3rd edition. She did a Woodcock-Johnson 3 Test of Achievement. She did a Bender Visual Motor Gestat Test. She did a Burns Depression Checklist, State and Traced Anxiety Questionnaire, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, Self-Report Versions, Frontal System Behavior Scale, Clinical Interview and Observation. Lisa Boyer plans to attend college this fall and requested a psychoeducational evaluation to determine if she has a learning and/or attention deficit disability. At the time, my kids were 13 and a half, 11 and a half, and 17 months old. I indicated that I was well, that I did well at school through middle school, and that I'm very adaptive. I emphasized that I was quiet and unable to speak or ask for help if I did not understand something. I endorsed problems with math and better abilities in reading. That I had better abilities in reading. And that my problems were exacerbated by my family system and circumstances. And that they created powerful distractions. And that I went into a deep depression when my family moved to Charlotte because I no longer had my friends group to help me regulate my emotions. And that I quit school in the 11th grade and went to work. I stated that I was scatterbrained, forgetful, distractible, disorganized, had a tendency to put things off. I stated that I attended numerous schools prior to the age of 9. That my father is bipolar. I left out the heroin addict part. And that, oh, I also stated that my oldest son displayed some ADHD traits. Andrew, I'm sorry I didn't take you. But it was demonized to label a child as MAGA pushes their agenda. She stated that I was cooperative and pleasant. Always, always. Rapport was easily established. Always. Ms. Boyer put forth best effort, sustained attention, and persistence throughout the 4-hour testing session. Distractibility was implied and seemed mostly in reaction to internal stimuli because sometimes her answers were off the mark, and upon repeating the question and or encouragement, she would produce the appropriate responses. Her concentration appeared to fluctuate as notable on short-term memory tasks. Her short-term memory revealed effective up to 4 bits of information. Verbal IQ superior, performance IQ high average, full scale IQ superior, verbal comprehension superior, perceptual organization high average, working memory low average, processing speed high average. Word identification average, passage comprehension high average, reading fluency average, broad reading average, story recall average, dictation high average, calculation average. My anxiety score was in the 17th percentile, trait anxiety score 20th percentile. Surprise recall. Okay, remember I told y'all about my mother hysterically attacking me over her car keys? Surprise recall, spontaneously reproduce 4 out of 9 designs from visual motor short-term memory. Emotional overlay revealed anxiety, poor planning, and difficulty to organize material. My full scale IQ, 120. Global information processing abilities exceeded 90% of those individuals taking the test. Relative to her own functioning, she exhibited weakness in her ability to retain information long enough in short-term memory to sequentially retrieve, organize problems into the appropriate steps, and to mentally apply numerical operations and mathematical reasoning. I love the way they word these tests, because she displayed emotional indicators that are associated with poor planning. Do you know how much I have been accused of being lazy and stupid by my mother? And then, in his own way, my ex-husband? Poor planning and organization ability, impulsiveness, and anxiety. But that's my fault. On the Bender Surprise Recall, Miss Boyer performed within the low average range of visual motor short-term memory. This is consistent with her non-verbal short-term memory scores. Summary. I am intelligent and motivated. I referred myself. Because I was determined to go to college, and I did not want it to impact my academic expression. She exhibited significant scatter within the verbal scale between the verbal comprehension index and the working memory index. The test revealed a pattern of errors of reversal in sequencing. The 42-point discrepancy between her verbal comprehension index and her working memory index demonstrated a processing deficit in short-term memory. Diagnostic findings. DSM-4, learning disorder, NOS, in math and a processing deficit in short-term memory. DSM-4, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder combined. I was not, at one time during that test, asked about blunt force trauma to my head. And there was a significant amount of it. With fists, with objects, with belt buckles, constant screaming, constant name calling, constant microaggressions, constant macroaggressions, constant humiliation rituals, constant scapegoating. That into my adulthood transformed into coercive control, where I had the ability to be valuable if I performed the way it was expected. And I'm not talking normal performance within a healthy dynamic. I'm talking about every relationship in my family that I experienced or witnessed having qualities of sadomasochism and coercive manipulative control with extreme triangulation and victim blaming. That pattern endured into my adulthood and bled into my relationships with two of the most horrible and vile human beings on the planet. And I am supposed to good vibes and hypnotize myself into a reality where people like Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu who are poisoning the air with bombs and the water and violence against women and children. When I talk about that to people face to face, they demonstratively minimize it. But if I go on the internet, people are yelling, "What the fuck is going on? Why are people badasses on the internet and cowards when they're 10 toes on the ground?" It is going to take more than waiting for an election cycle to change what is happening on planet Earth. It is going to take more than Mitch McConnell dropping dead. It is going to take more than Donald Trump dropping dead, than Alex Karp dropping dead, than Peter Thiel dropping dead, than Elon Musk dropping dead to change what is happening on Earth. This is systematic. This is a bunch of armchair quarterbacks that do nothing in real life. And when I talk to people that have any influence, they good vibes only me. And ask me what my therapist has to say about it. I am not going to hypnotize and disassociate. This is a system of behavior that exists first and foremost inside the family home. And the top is a reflection of the bottom. And there is a vast difference of wealth, but not of behavior. Not of behavior. Everybody wants to be Ivanka Trump. Everybody wants to be Barron Trump. Everybody wants to be Don Jr. Everybody wants to be Eric Trump. That's why nobody is in the streets. That's why my sons are angry at me for leaving my ex, because he makes money. That's why I don't matter in my family system. The last time I physically saw my youngest son was the summer of 2024, and he was home on college break, and I randomly sent him an Instagram message, and he responded exactly the way that I knew that he would, because he has been groomed by two disgusting people, his stepmother and his father. And of course, he gave me a list like Santa Claus. And of course, I bought it because my cancer best friend at the time told me, money, Lisa. It's all about money. So I bought the gifts, and I got him through the door, and I set him down, and I looked at him, and he knows that he was not hurt physically by me. In a way that is catastrophic. And he knows that the system is sick and twisted. We didn't have to say that. I'm his mother. But I did talk to him about his father and about parental alienation. And he told me that he has been seeing the same sick fuck therapist for years that told me that my ex-husband is a narcissist, Rich Tedeschi. Who can sit and watch a narcissist alienate a child from their mother